Okay, yesterday we started with the bubble sort and we'll continue because we did not complete it, the bubble sort. And I explained how the bubble sort will work. Bubble sort will work by, let's go with the first pass first. That is, we'll take 29 and then we'll go through all the elements, and if each element is bigger than the next, then swap. Okay, so 29 is bigger than 10, we swap. 29 is bigger than 14, we swap. Then 29 is less than 30, so we will not swap. Then 30 is less than 37, so we will not swap. 37 is greater than 14, so we'll stop. 37 is greater than 18, so we'll stop. And this will be the first pass. Then we'll again start, and initially 29 was there, and in the second pass 10 will be here on the left hand side, and we'll process in the normal way. Okay, so that is the plan which we have to do. So right now the coding which I am writing, it's optimized. I will change it a little bit, but at least we need to follow the idea which I just now explained. Okay, so let's do some console here and see what is happening. Okay, let me take this. Okay, so this one will be the first pass, console.log. I will say this one is the pass, so it can be, I will put I, so that I know how many passes are going. And here I will go through each element, and we will check whether this is greater than this or not, this is greater than this or not. Then we have to swap. Okay, so here we will do console.log each element, and here I will do J. So let's run this and see what is coming here, and then we'll make it, we'll write more code. Okay. One second. Let me run it again. I cannot do it. One second. Okay. Okay, so there is some problem in this browser. Let me grab another one. Okay, let's put it here. Let's copy this. Okay, let's write down any word here. Console.log bubble sort, and here I will pass the array. Let's see, I pass 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so initially we're going the pass 0, and then we're going each element 0, 1, 2, 3. Then we are going to the pass 1, that is second time we have to go through, and we are going each element 0, 1, 2, 3. And then we are going to the pass 2. Then again we are looping through 0, 1, 2, 3. Then we are going to the pass 3, and we are again going to 0, 1, 2, 3. Right now we haven't written any code, so we are getting same element in the return. We are not getting the sorting order. So we will write down now some logic here so that it should work and we should get the proper answer in the end. So now another question now. So let's go through this 4 and 3. Since 4 is greater than 3, so we will swap, right? So we have to swap it. So we should know how to swap the two elements. Now here is the question. I want everyone to write in the chat, how will you swap two elements? So if you have variable A and variable B, then you swap. So let's consider, I will give you one example. What is the problem? What I want to do. So let's say we have the array is equal to 1. I can put anything. Let's say 7, 8. Okay, this is the array. Now I want to swap the element. So 8 should become 7 and 7 should become 1. Okay, so that is the plan. So ultimate result should be should be in this format, 8 and 7. This is just to understand the logic. We are not doing ascending or descending order. Just I want to replace 7 with 8 and 8 with 7. Here I want to write some logic. Can anyone write the logic by taking the array and returning the array with the logic that it should be replaced? So I want you to write the code here. Okay, everyone should write in the chat. I don't want anyone to leave it. I will check answers from everyone and try to answer me in the private. Don't. Someone has written in public, it's okay, but all the answers should be in the private to me so that I can see your answer and I want to see who is doing correct. So consider this is the problem. We have the array with 7 and 8 element, and now we have to write some logic so that the answer in the end should be 8 and 7. So we are taking array and return is also array, but we are swapping the elements. So consider this is the 0, this is the 1. So 0 should become 8 and 1 should become 7. Okay, take this array and I want everyone to answer it. Don't think if you're new, you cannot answer this. This is some basic JavaScript. Even if it is wrong, it's okay, but try, please try. Okay, I got from Rakesh. Shweta, there's nothing like swap array. So you need to write some logic here. This is the simple problem and it is asked in many interviews. How will you swap the two numbers? Raghav, you are right. Yeah, Divya, but how? You have to give me the code. Okay, Divya, A equal to 7, B equal to 8, temp equal to, yeah, Divya, that's correct. But you have to work with this array because we will be dealing with the array now. Shweta, this is correct. Now the answer is correct. Okay. So let me show you what I mean by this one. And those who have answered it, some of you have answered exactly what I want, and some of you have answered little bit different, not correct. Okay, Kate, let me check your solution. No, that's not the right one. Okay, so let's write down some logic or function to swap the variables. Okay, so I will create one function called as constant swap. So this is a function I will write down. I will also write down another function. I will name it as old because I will show you two ways to do the swapping, and I want you to remember this both the ways. Tomorrow I will ask you, and everyone has to write down both the solutions, both these functions without looking at the function in your computer. So you have to write down this answer of this without looking. So you have to remember this both the solutions. So this old is the ES5 version, and in the new one I will ES6 version, which we will use it in our all use cases. So in the ES5 we have to create a temporary variable. So let's first pass the variables here. So there will be passed array. Whatever array is there, you're passing this array. And index, you are passing the index 1. So if this is the array, you are passing 0 index and 1 index. So swap 0 with 1. And I will put another index, that is IDX2. So let's say if we have much bigger array like this, and you have to swap 8 with 10, then also this function will work. You have to just pass 1 and 3. So it will swap both it will swap this with this or this with this. So this is the array which we will be passing, and this is the index 1 which we want to take, and this is the index 2 which we have to swap with. Okay, so in this case we will be passing 0 and 1 for the index, because we have to replace 0 with 1 and 1 with 0. So this parameter part will be same in this ES6 version also. Okay, so first we will do ES5 version and then we'll do ES6 version. Both you have to remember it, and for all our practical purpose we'll use this one, ES6 version. And some of you have showed me the ES6 answer, and some of you have showed me ES5 answer. Both are correct. Whatever you want in your interview you can use, but let's try to learn both the solutions. So in the ES5, if we want to swap the two numbers, we need to create a temporary variable. So let's create a temporary constant temp equal to. So I will put in the temp, I will put any one of them. Either I can use index 1 or I can use index 2. So I'll say index 1. So in this case, if we are taking this case, index 1 is 0 and index 2 is 8. So in this case, I am putting in temporary variable value 7. Okay, then what I will do, I will take passed array, and since I put 7 in the memory in temporary variable, now I can change this first element, because I know already saved in the temporary variable. So I will take IDX1 equal to. So what should be the value for this one now? Can anyone tell me? Right now I save the past array index. Its value is 7, but now we have to replace with 8. So what should I write down here? Okay, not IDX plus 1, it is IDX2, index 2. So I will say passed array of index 2. So now what we are doing, we are changing the value of IDX1, that is 7, with the value of IDX2. IDX2 is 8. So after this line of the code, this number, instead of 7, it will be replaced by 8, because we are assigning 8 to this. So after this line, index 1 or the array will look like this one. Array will be 8, 8. Because we have not changed the IDX2, it will remain same as 8. Here we have changed only IDX1, and we have taken the IDX2 value and assigned it to IDX1. So this one will become 8 and 8. and after this it will be same because we have not done any changes yet. Okay, so this will be same. Now what I will do, now I will say passed array of idx2. So I will now change the value of this one. What should I put the value of this one? Temp variable, temp variable. Don't do mistake by putting this index 1. If I put index 1, then 8 will be assigned to 8 and both will remain 8. So don't put this one. Just use this temporary variable and put it here. Okay. So this is the one solution of using the ES5 version. Now this passed array, we don't need to return this passed array. We don't need to return it. The reason is that this passed array will be passed as a reference. So when I call this function, automatically this passed array will be updated with the new value. So we don't need to return anything. Just we will call this function and the passed array will be with new value. Okay, so just write down this one before we go to swap one new way. I'll give you a minute to write it down. Write it anywhere in your notepad or anywhere where you want to save it. Okay, so I hope you have written, everyone has written it. So let's go to the solution number 2, which we will use in our project. So this is the ES6 version of doing it. So here what we have to do, this is in the ES6 we have the destructuring of the variables. So how to do destructuring? I will pass here array, and in the return also it is equal, also it is array. Okay, now how I have to destructure it? Here I have to take one variable. So I will say pass array of index 1. Okay, comma. Then I will take another variable which I want to change, and I want to change the pass array of index 2. Now I want the value of index 1 to be this and value of index 2 to be this. So here I will put opposite. So here I will say passed array of index 2. So and comma, and I will say passed array of index 1. So what it will do, passed array of index 1 will get the value of index 2, and passed array of index 2 will get the value of index 1. So this is the one line code. It will do the swapping. So just write down this and we will do some testing whether they are working or no. So as you're writing this, sometimes I will explain anything. You may understand it 70% or 80% of the code. You may not understand 20% of the code. But even if you don't understand, you just remember the things, how you have done it, and you try to by heart those things. Maybe after a few days, you will automatically learn uh, that 20-30% of the code. So even if you have not understood it, write it down and remember it. In few days, when you will go through it again, you may understand it better. Okay, so let's try to test this condition. I will just write down this here, and we will see whether how it is working. Okay, there is some problem in the code. Let's see where is the problem. Okay, here is the problem. So I put the this one and x1, x2 constant. So this constant spelling is wrong. Okay, so let's put it constant. Okay, so we did, and now let's try to experiment it. I will create an array. Okay, screen size is now. Is that okay? Okay. So let's create the array now. I will put 7, comma 8. So this is my array. I will try to use the old way now. I will call the swap old. Then I will pass array, that is array, and then I'll pass the 0 value and 1. That is, I want to replace index. This we have to pass the index. We should not pass the value 7. We should pass the index. And after this, I will print the value of the R. What is the value of array? So you will see this array has become 8 and 7. I call this swap old. And I pass the array with the index 0 and 1 because I want to replace 0 with 1 and 1 with 0. And I'm doing console.log. Let's try to do same thing with old another one. So now I'll call the swap. And now you see 8 and 7 has become again 7 and 8. That means we are replacing again 8 with 7 and 7 with 8. So both the functions are working fine. Only there was problem with this spelling const as we have to use const, not the cont. Okay, so this is a function we will be using in our code. Okay, so let's take this function and put it inside our bubble function code. Okay, let me put this in a good place. Okay, let's put it here. Data structure bubblesort day 1, and I will save as 0001 bubblesort day 02.txt. Let me write it here. Okay, so here we have our function bubblesort. Now consider this part, this for loop. Do not worry about this for loop. We have to concentrate on this for loop. This for loop is, we have 29, 10, 14, 30, 31, 14, 18. Okay, so we have to go through each element. We have to go through each element and we have to go through each element and we have to compare one with another. Okay. Okay, so that is what the purpose of this for loop is there. But I will try to change this for loop little bit, and that is what I will do like this now. Okay, that I will do in a bit. First now, how will you compare this element with this element? So first I need to compare this element and this element. I have to check if this one is greater than this one. So to check this one is greater than this one, what should I write here? Can anyone tell me in the chat? What should I write down here? So consider only this for loop, and I have to consider this two elements only. Okay, we don't have to think about other things. So j is considered as 0. We are getting j 0, that is this element. So we have to compare j with this j plus 1. So what should I write here so that I should compare? And I have to see if this is greater than this, then I have to swap it. Okay, Rakesh has said correctly. So what we have to do, that we have to check array. No, j, we cannot compare j with j plus 1 because j is always 0, j plus 1 is always 1. So you cannot compare the index, compare the value. So to compare the value, we have to use array of j. So array of j is 29. And I'm saying if array of j is greater than array of j plus 1, then I have to do something. What I have to do here? If this is greater than this, what should I do here? Swap it. We have to swap it. So can anyone write down what should I write here for the swap? I have to call this swap function. How I will write it? Everyone has to write it in private message to me. Everyone who is here has to write the answer. What should I write here for the swap? Okay, so let me see who has written correct. Okay, I'll be back in 1 minute. Okay, so just I want to know, just concentrate on the J part. Do not worry about I part and why we have written I part. I will just talk about that in a few minutes. So right now, just consider only the J part. So when you will write the swap function, you should only concentrate on the J part. So you have to call the swap function. Shweta, your answer is swap equal to. Swap equal to is not the way to call the function. Sonu Singh, what is this? I don't understand. Swap equal to. See, you have to see how to call the swap function. You have to call it function and you have to pass first parameter as array, second parameter is the index which you want to use and another index which you want to swap it. So just write down again. Ashok, think how the swap function has to be called here. Sonu Singh, where is your array? Where is your this array part? So we have to swap by passing the array and you have not passed the array. Sonu Singh, you are calling this function swap and you are passing everything inside the array. Do you think we are passing array here as a whole? So you are writing swap with array and then blah 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 blah. Why this array is here? Why you have called this array like this here? Shweta, you are calling swap, but you have to pass the parameters. This is the parameters. You have to pass the parameters to that function. Just calling the swap function will not work. If I call swap function like this, It will not work because it is expecting 3 parameters. So we have to pass 3 parameters here. Rakesh, you're right. I'm waiting for others. Yeah, Sonu Singh, now you're right. Everyone has to answer. This is the simple thing. You have to call this function. I don't see answers from many of you. Yes, Divya, you're right. Kate, you're right. So now since many of you have given the answer, correct answer, I will tell you. So what is in SOP, what we have to do, we have to pass the array. This is the array. So pass array. So here what is the array? Array is this part. And then we have to swap j with j plus 1. So the second parameter will be j. And third parameter will be j plus 1. Okay, so this is how we have to pass it. Now tell me, we are concentrating only on the j part. That is, it will see if 29 is greater than 10. Yes, so we have to swap it. When I swap it, let's see what is the value of the array. After swap, array is this one, whatever it is. Maybe I can write in, I'm just writing this just to display what is the array value is this. And this will be before swap. So we'll see what is happening after swap, what will be the value and what is the before swap. So let's try to run this one. Okay, so let's for now we will comment this one, top for loop, and we will only work on the small internal for loop, and I will press enter. So here you will see before swap it is same thing as this one. Since 29 is greater than 10, so we swapped 10 with 29. Now the before swap, so first time it is done with a 0 element, it is done. This part is done with 0 element. Now j will go to 1. When j will go to 1, we are going again. So 10 and 29, and it will check 29 with 14. So 29 is greater than 14, so they swap it. Then 29 with 30, 29 is not greater than 30, they will not swap it. Then 30 with 14, okay, before swap. Okay, so 29 with 30, and then we go 14, 37, and 37 will check with the 18. Before swap, it is 37, 18, and after swap, it becomes 18 and 37. So after the first round, though all elements will not be sorted, but whoever got jumping, they will be sorted like 10, 14, 29, 30, and this part will remain same because of the position. And that is the reason we need to go again to do the swapping part, because when we swap 29 to this, this 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 to this, it is the first pass. When we go with the first pass, it will sort few numbers, but not all the one. So we have to go to second pass, third pass, fourth pass till everything is sorted completely. Okay, let me try to explain you one more time, and then we are done for today for this one. So let's try to do it again. Okay, this one. Okay, so this is the first pass. I will start the first pass. That is first time I'm doing. I will check 29 with 10. 29 is greater than 10. Okay, so it will be 10 and 29. Now rest will remain same thing. Okay, rest same. Now j was 0 that we did this swapping. Now j will become 1. When j will become 1, we compare 29 with 14. Since 29 is greater than 14, so 14 will come here and 29 will come here. Now j will become 2. So now we will compare 2 with 30. Is 29 greater than 30? No. So 30 will come here as it is. Then j will move to point number 3. We have to compare 30 with 37. Whether 30 is greater than 37? No. So it will remain as it is. Now the pointer will move to the this element, fifth number. Now we'll compare 37 with 14. 37 is greater, so we will stop. 14 will come here and 37 will come here. Then the pointer will go to the sixth number position. Now we'll compare 37 with 18. So 37 is greater, so 18 will be moved here and 37 will be moved here. So this is the first pass when it completes all the round and it tries to sort few elements in the first pass. Then we have to start again. That is the second pass. And second pass, the whole process will repeat again and we will be swapping few other elements also here. Okay, so let's try to do the second pass. So it will again start with data 10 and 14. 10 smaller, so both will remain same. Then it will go to 14. 14 and 29. Both are same. 14 is smaller. So it's fine. Then it will go to 29. 29 and 30. Both are equal, no swapping. Then it will go to 30. 30 and 14. 14 is smaller, so it will swap. 14 will come here and 30 will go here. Then it will compare 30 with 18. So 30 is bigger, so it will do 18 and 30. And then it will compare 30 with 37. So it will be 37 here. So we are done with the second pass here. Still, all are not sorted. So let's go to the third pass. In the third pass, we will again start with the starting one. 10 with 14, no need to swap. 14 with 29, no need to swap. 29 with 14, we need to swap. So after this, we will swap 14 and 29. Then 29 with 18, we will swap. So it will come 18, he will come here, and 29 will come here. Then 29 with 30, no swap. Then 30 with 37, no swap. So the next pass will be like this, 37. Now the program don't know whether it is sorted because it just try to do as I said. Now it will try to again run the fourth pass. But here he will not see anything to be swapped. Okay, so then it will go to fifth pass. Again there is nothing to sort, nothing to swap. Then it will go to sixth pass. So it will complete all the passes which we want to do because we have to do n number of times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it will do 7 times. One more time it will go. So that way it will try to complete all the elements one by one and try to sort it like in this way. Is this part clear? Okay, so remember this bubble sort is the simplest thing in the data structure. So you have to understand everything because other things will be more difficult, more complicated in future. So try to understand this. One second. I'll be back in 1 minute. Okay, so what we are trying to do, we are trying to swap each element with another element as we see here. Sorry, one second. As we see here, we are swapping one element with another element and we are trying to move one element another. Now can anyone tell me why I have written the two for loops? One for pass. Divya is correct. Everyone try to answer it. One for pass swap. Okay, so this internal for loop is for the swapping part. Okay, whatever. Let me show you again. So internal for loop is for the swapping. That is, we have to jump it. But if we do one time jumping, all the elements will not be sorted. So we have to start again. We have to start again. We have to start again. Though I is not used anywhere in this place, but how many times we should repeat? How many times we should repeat this sorting and this sorting part or this swapping part? For that we need the outer loop. Okay, so because there will maybe now there are 8 elements, there will be 100 elements. So tomorrow, if we do one time internal sort, it will not completely sort all the elements because we are only comparing one element. We are not comparing whole thing. So that's the reason we have to do the outer loop for the passes. Okay, so this is not the complete solution. We have to optimize this solution little bit. But before I optimize it, just write down this function and then tomorrow we'll try to optimize it. So just write down in 1 minute, then we are done for today's data structure. Okay, which notes you are saying? In notes, which note? This will be committed in the file, but I want you to write it down because if you write it down, you will remember it. If you just copy it, my code, then you will not remember it. You will just copy it. Okay, Arjun, I will add your name in the GitLab. I think I have added it yesterday. You gave me in the chat. See if your name is there. But what? So what you have to do is you have to go to you have to create one folder. For example, C drive. Okay, let me double check it. You're saying you're a developer. So you have to do C drive, create another folder web. Inside that, create a folder all, and then use the git clone, and you put the URL. What is the URL? Let's see. This is the URL, and then you have to put dot. Okay, after this you will get all the code. Then you have to do git checkout develop, because this is the branch which we are using to commit our code. And once you will do, you will see all the folders. Now you have to create your folder. So you create your folder, make dir with your name, for example, Arjun, and then whatever you want to do it inside this folder. Okay, don't try to do it in another developer's folder. Okay, so like this. I gave you in the chat, and I will also give in the Telegram group. Okay, so JSON.string, if I just convert the object into the string for display purpose, I can keep array also, but when I want to show exactly the value of array or object, it's better to show it in the string format, or we can keep array also. But for this case, I just kept it stringify, convert it into the string. So it will convert array into string and display it. Okay, so this is not the final solution, remember, but this is at least the solution which you can use if you want. Only thing is next time, we'll optimize it. What we need to optimize it, just I want to tell you in short. See, after third pass, third pass, there was no change. There was no swapping of the elements. So we will do optimization so that it should not go to other passes. It will end here only when we don't have any swapping. Okay, when we don't have any swapping, it means it is already sorted. So we don't need to go to another pass. That is what optimization will do tomorrow. Okay, but otherwise, this will work fine. Okay, so after bubble sort, we will take the selection sort, and then there are other sorting also available. We'll complete all sorting in a period of 5 to 10 days. Then we'll take another topic. And this sort is pretty much interesting. Lot of interview questions are there in the sorting part. Okay, that's all for today's data structure. If anyone wants to leave for after data structure, they can leave, but we will start now the React part. Okay, let's go to, yesterday I told you to put the snack bar, and I'm not sure how many of you have done it. Let me. Okay, so today morning I ran something with large data set for the data structure. I think that for that reason that console has become, there's some problem in the console. Let me restart this one. And that's the reason I cannot do the console.log. Let me close it and restart it. Okay, Sonu Singh, I can see. Okay, Sonu Singh, I will see your code and comment on it. At least you tried it. I see you have done a lot of good stuff there, but we'll do it again. But I will check your code. But you did a lot. Yeah, looks like it's correct, but there are some additions. I will be doing it, but you tried correctly. Okay, why it's not ending? Yeah, there's some problem in this browser. I'm forcing it, then also it's not causing. Okay, so let me work on this one in the Chrome till it gets. Okay, so we have completed this page. So when I go to the create page, once we click the save button, I should see some message. For that, I will show you how to add the snack bar. Okay, so right now, let's do some other thing first, and then we'll go to snack bar. So when I click this one, it goes to detail page. Let's build the detail page now, and let's build the detail page, and then we'll move to the snack bar again. So to add the detail page, I will create one more folder, new folder, details. Inside that, I will create a new file, detail.jsx, and I will go to the routing to add this detail component. And then I will call the detail here. Did I create a detail part? No. So once user click the, let's go here and see what URL we are calling. So once we are in the home page, listing page, user call campaign and the campaign ID. So we need to use this URL, campaign and ID. So here I will say campaign and I have to get the ID. So I'll say campaign ID. Once I get this campaign and ID, I will redirect user to this detail page. Okay, so let me see what props we are getting here. Okay, so once I click this, you will see we are in the detail page, but something is wrong. Let's see what is wrong. Cannot find the modules. So let's check where we have created this module. So I created detail outside the campaign, and that's the reason it's not able to get it. Let me drag this to the campaign. Okay, now if I refresh, it should work. Still not, something is, okay, something is still not working. Details.jsx. Here we are saying campaign, details, and detail. So it's correct. This looks like correct. Let me restart this one. Yeah, I'm getting the detail page. Let's see what is the props I'm getting. So props on the detail page are match, params, and we are getting the ID. So we are getting the ID of the detail record. So if I am going to this campaign, I'm getting CGN. Let's go to another one. And we have XJ. So we are getting ID depend on what I click it. Okay, so let's try to work on this one. So now just create detail page and put it in the routing. Then we'll go. I'll give you 1 minute to do this. Sonu Singh, I saw your comment. You tell me what are the steps you do in the Git. So what are the steps you did? Okay, Git add then. Okay, Git commit. Okay, then. Okay, so steps are correct. So let me, after the class, I'll check what I can do with you. Okay, in between, I cannot give you the presenter role. Sometimes the recording gets broken because of that. So let me finish the class and then I'll give you the presenter roles. You show me what you're doing. Okay, so what we did, we created a detail route and we created a detail page. And when someone will click, someone will click any of the campaign, we will go to the detail page. So once we are in the detail page, we get this ID here in the top URL. So the next task will be, we have to fetch the details of this campaign from the database, because this is the URL user can come directly also. Though right now we are moving from this page to another page, but user can refresh also. So when it will refresh the page, we don't have the previous data which we have in this page. So we need to get the data from the server and we need to add it in the Redux, and then we can use that data here on the page. So let's try to get the data from the server. Okay, so we will go in the campaign action. Right now we have these functions. One second. Okay, so we will add the function to get the detailed record. Okay, I will add the function, then you have to help me how to get the detailed record. Export constant get campaign, only I'll say get campaign to get one detailed record, and this will be the arrow function, and here we'll call this dispatch inside it. Since I created this dispatch as an asynchronous call, so we need to put try and catch inside it. Okay, so we created this function get campaign. Now tell me, what should I pass in this function? ID, right? Rakesh is right. ID. We need to pass the ID because we need to get the detailed record for this ID. Now I will query this table here like this. Okay. Now since we have to query based on the ID, we can do it in two ways. One way is I will say constant records is equal to, sorry, one way is I can always use like query dot equal equal to, and then I can say object ID. This is the field in the database is object, and I can pass the ID here. And then I can directly call the records equal to, whether I have to call the find or the first. Find is right here or the first is right. When I'm trying to get one record, get campaign, first is correct word or find. Rakesh is saying find. Ole is saying first. Shweta is saying find. Since I want only one record, remember find is not the right thing. We must use the first. Okay, because we need to get only one record. If we want to get multiple record, we have to use find. Like here I have used find because I want multiple record. But here I want only one record. So I will use the find. First, sorry, we have to use first. I will also use it should be approved. It should not be deleted. And its status should be 1. Okay. So because I want approved to be 1 and we have to say deleted equal to 0 and status equal to 1. And now I will see what is coming in the record. Console.log record is record. Okay, so just want to check what is coming in the record. I can, so this is the one way. I want to show another way also, sorry. So I want to show another way also. There is another way to get that record. To get, if we have ID, we can directly call const record is equal to query.get and I pass ID in it. So if I pass query.get with ID in it, I will get directly that record and I can see that record here. Let's try to go with this way and see what we are getting it. So I need to call this function. Where I need to call? In the detail page. Since I need to call it in the detail page, we need to make this Redux available. Since I want to make this detail page as a Redux available, I will make it Redux available by using this line of statement. So first I will use connect. Then I will call some functions from the campaign actions. So I will go like dot Redux actions campaign action, and in that I will call this function. Then I will copy these two variables. Okay, and this in the actions I will say get campaign is equal to get campaign, but then I will change here with some different name, handle get campaign. You know why I'm changing the name, because there will be name conflict. And here I don't need anything right now. We will need something, but right now I don't need it. But once we get the data, I need it here. And then I will call this one. And instead of prop, I will call this handle get campaign here. Also, I want the ID. To get the ID, I will call match. Inside match, we have params. Inside params, we have ID. I can see what ID is coming back. Console.log ID is. Okay. So now I want to call this function handle get campaign. Where should I write this function? I'm getting ID correctly. I want to call this handle gate campaign on the page load. Where should I write that? Use effect. That's correct. Kate, you're right. Use effect. So you have become expert now where to call what things. And in the use effect, I will function. I have to pass ID here. When I pass ID here, it will ask me that it is missing dependencies, these two. So we have to pass the dependencies also. Let's put this ID inside the use effect. So once I call this use effect on the page load, it will call the detail function, and we will see that in the okay. So we are getting this record as a promise. So why we are getting record as promise? What is the problem in this line of statement? We are not getting record. We are getting promise. You see, we are getting the promise. Why we are not getting the record? Okay, it's not about get ID. We need to pass as await, because this is the promise. We need to return using the await. If we return await, it will fine. Connection refuse. Okay, we are getting the record here, and we are getting the details of this one: title, description, approved, this. Okay, so we are getting it. I can use this also or this also. This I wanted to show you the get part. Let's try to now use this part. Okay, so we can use both the ways, whatever we want. Either way is okay. So we are getting the record here also, right? So there is one problem with this one, and I will ask you this problem in few days, not now. Then we will reach to that point. Okay, so right now I get this record. Now what should I do with this record? What is the purpose of calling this an action, and what should we do with this now? Put on list. There is no list here. It's only one record. What should I do with record? Where should I put it? How can I use this record in detail page? I have to do something because this record is available in this section. I can return this record, and then I can get this record here by saying const record. Is it right to do this way? We are calling the action in detail page. We are already calling this action in the detail page. But is it right to return the record and get it in the detail page, or we have to do some other thing? Yes, we need to pass it to reducer. Now, how will I pass this to reducer? How should I pass the record to the reducer? Call dispatch, correct. So we have to call dispatch. So tell me one thing now, if I go to reducer, is there any case which is handling the detailed part right now? We have results part, we have this other things. Is there anything which is handling detail part right now? Not yet. So we need to add it. So let's add it. Maybe I'll say detail. Initially I will say null. Let's create one case statement. Campaign detail. And I will update the detail part here with action dot payload. So whatever payload will come, if the type is campaign detail, I will update the detail. So let's call this here in this dispatch. I will say type equal to campaign detail, and payload will be nothing but this record. This record. Once I dispatch it, I will be able to get it in the state in the form of the detail. So this campaign detail is called here, and I'm able to see now in the campaign reducer, I'm able to see this detail. Okay, so what happened, till we get this information detail from the server, and we show that here from the server, I need to show the loading icon here. Loading. Okay. So what change I should do here so that I can show the loading icon on the page? What addition we have to do in the reducer? Okay, loading equal to false. So maybe we can add one more key value pair. I will say detail loading equal to false initially. Okay, and when I get the results back in this detail, I will also make detail loading equal to false. But when I start, before calling this await call, I want to make loading equal to true. So maybe I will create another case statement, campaign detail loading, where I will only update the loading equal to true. So that means when someone calls this function, I will dispatch this loading part, campaign detail loading type. So before I call this await, I will make this campaign detail loading equal to true. But as soon as we get the record, and we call the campaign detail. In campaign detail, I will update the detail with some value, and I will also say detail loading equal to false, so that loading icon should stop. If I don't put this true, then how will I show the loading icon? We need some variable to show loading is going on, right? So we need to put this loading icon. So let's refresh it. Right now I have not put the loading icon, but at least I can see it here. So when this page is loading, first we are calling this loading part, where we will see this campaign reducer loading becomes true. Then we call the campaign detail once we get the result from the backend. And here we will see campaign detail loading become false, and detail is getting some value from the server. Right? If I call another one, so initially loading will become true, and then once campaign detail is called, loading will become false. So as soon as this function is called, we will make the loading true, and we will show the loading icon on the page. And once the data is there from the server, we will make this loading icon false. So the server is very slow. Let's say I don't call the server, for example. So the loading icon will become true only. Let's say server is very slow, so we should show the loading icon till we get the data from the server. Right now, I commented the code, so we get loading equal to true. Once we get the data from the server, we will make the loading equal to false. Because this is local, it is fast, we get the data immediately. But when it goes to the website, then it will take some time on the server. Maybe server is slow, too many requests are going on the server, so we need to wait till we get the data from the server. Now, once we get the record here in the state variable, we need to use it on the detail page. How can I use it on the detail page? What should I do now? Okay, so remember one thing. When you want to call the server, you call it in the action. And the action will call the reducer. And reducer will update the state. But once state is updated, you want to read from the state. Then there is no need to call the action. Action is only used to call something from the server. But once we get the data, we already got data here in this detail part. Now we don't need the action. We should work on the state part. This state part is used when we want to read something. When we have to do edit or create something, we will do using the action. Or we have to call the server, we will use action. This part has to be done to read the data. So we will not touch this part when we want to read it. We will touch only this part. Here we will get the state. And in the state, we will update two things. One is the detail and detail loading. So let's first concentrate on the detail part. And I will say state.campaign reducer.detail. And second thing which we need is detail loading. And I will call this again here. Now these both things will come here as a prop. So I will pass it as detail and detail loading. Now let's take what it is coming here as a detail. Okay, let's refresh it. So if you see, initially detail is null, detail loading is false. Now we haven't got the data from the server, so detail is still null, but detail loading is true because we started the process of calling data from the server. Then once we got the detail loading becomes false. So once we get detail, we will show this detail on the page, and we will also stop the loading icon. So tomorrow I will work on the detail part to show this detail on the page, but let's try to put only the loading icon. Do we have anything on the loading in the utilities? No, in the utilities we have this loading part, right? So let's call this one. Import loading from, let's go back. Okay, so you got the loading component. Now we want to show this loading here in this div somewhere. Okay, so what should I write so that when detail loading is true, then I show the loading. What should I write here? Okay, Kate is correct. But let's say I don't want to put inside the return. I want to do it here only. Then what should I write? I want to return from here if it is loading. I don't want to show this any data. I want to return it from here. Okay, so if I will say if condition here because this is the JavaScript. If I am inside this return, I will start with the curly bracket and use the details is loading. I could have write it here, detail is loading. But since I am putting it in the before the return statement, I will say if detail is loading. That means if detail is true, that means we are getting some data from the server. Then I will return loading icon. Okay, so here only I will check and return it if we are getting the data from the server. So let's see now on the page. So since the data has come so fast, you are not able to see it. So to see it, the effect, let me put this call in timeout. Maybe after 10 seconds. And I will call this statement, okay? So there is some problem. Okay, so let's put it. See, so I will refresh the page. Now we call the server to get the data. It's trying to get the data. After 10 seconds, it will call the server request and we'll get the data. Okay, once we got the data, this loading icon is gone and we are able to see it here. If I refresh it again, it's taking 10 seconds to get the data from the server because I forced it to get the data in 10 seconds. So we are seeing the icon here. Though we can position this icon to center somewhere. Right now I'm not doing that one, but later on I will do that. Okay, so let me right now remove this part. And now it will be very quick. Still it's loading. Okay, maybe. Yeah. Somehow it got stuck, so it was loading till now. Now we got the data and it's not coming here now. Okay, so no need to write down now this part. You can write down. Once I commit it, you can check it and write down. So we have taken care of this loading icon. Tomorrow we will take care of this detail part and we will build some more stuff here so that we can show more things on this detail page. And this detail page is like a new world. This one will be the new world because user will come here for a few minutes. He will search whatever he wants. For example, he wants to know about Trump, for example, and there is a lot of campaigns. So he will search for Trump, and once he click detail, he will be in this Trump campaign. Now here we will be doing a lot of activities. So this one page will be too much heavy because a lot of activities have to be going on in this page. Like there will be comments, there will be posting item, there will be tasks, there will be members, pagination will be there. A lot of things will happen on this page. So this one will be the too much heavy page and a lot of things going on in this page. So just I'm saying you that we have to build a lot of things on this page, and this is the core of this our website. This page with campaign, user will stay only for few seconds. Once he likes the campaign, he will go inside the campaign and he will do a lot of things here. So from tomorrow we will be working on this detail page. We will be doing a lot of things on this page. Okay, so just remember that. So that's all for today. Let me complete the code and you can get it now. Any questions?